Hey, what's going on, guys? It's the Home Cinema Engineer, and in this video I want to talk to you what was one of the most important deciding factors in me purchasing the projector that I have, which is the Epson 5040 UB. And what was so important to me was lens memory. So what lens memory is just a motorized lens that allows me to, using the remote, to adjust the zoom, adjust the focus, and adjust the positioning of the lens or the image in an up and down plane and left and right. So my projector, and most projectors out on the market, in the consumer market, are natively a 16:9 projector. Some of them may have manual zoom and focus and left and right and up and down controls on them, and some of them may have a motorized controls like mine does. And that's a pretty important factor, and I'll tell you why. It really depends on what type of content you're going to be watching and what you're going to be using it for. For me, this is obviously a home theater, and I'm going to be doing a majority of movie watching down here. Now, that's not to say that I don't do TV shows down here, or say Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, you name it. But all those do have different aspect ratios. So being that this is a home theater and that is the most important thing to me, I knew that I wanted the biggest possible image I could get. So that's why I bought this particular projector. It allows me to, again, zoom in and out and refocus and reposition the image according to what content I'm watching. The screen I went for size-wise is about 143 inches diagonally, and the aspect ratio is 2:3:9 or 2:4:1, which is just CinemaScope. It's the same aspect ratio that you'll find in theaters, and it's the main native output aspect ratio of all movies for the better part of 2 or 3 decades. When you've chosen what screen size you want and what aspect ratio you want, which for me again is 2:3:9, I have to adjust the lens according to whatever content I'm watching. So you can see the Oppo menu here is in 16:9 aspect ratio. So that's why you have a black bar on the left and a black bar on the right, because this is a CinemaScope screen. So anytime I'm watching any content, regardless of the source, that is in 16:9 aspect ratio, this is what it's going to look like. You're going to have the black bars on the left and the right. And for me, that doesn't bother me. That means that your Hulu, your Netflix, your Disney Plus, and TV is going to be in 16:9 aspect ratio. So again, black bars on the left and right of the screen. And then whenever I watch a movie on those same streaming services, or of course on a Blu-ray or 4K Blu-ray, it's going to be in widescreen most of the time. And so then I'll just hit a button, and that'll allow me to fill up the entire screen and not have black bars on the left or right, or up on the top or bottom. So in this next part, I'll show you a demonstration of all the aspect ratios you may come across. So 16:9, 2:3:9, and the IMAX format, which is generally 1:7:8:1. And then, of course, 4:3 is your standard definition letterbox format, which I probably won't show. Okay, so for my demonstration here, I'm going to show you The Dark Knight, which is a perfect example of 16:9 content and then widescreen content as well as IMAX content. And then I'll show you how I switch between them. And then I'll also switch over to Hulu and show you the aspect ratios on there and what that all looks like. So I will be muting the audio so I don't get copyright infringement, and hopefully I won't get copyright infringement for the content we're about to play. So it's pretty typical with most Blu-ray movies and 4K Blu-ray movies even to have a 16:9 aspect ratio menu system. But then when you go to play the movie, it's going to be most likely in CinemaScope, which is widescreen, 2:3:9:1. So we'll play. So one thing you may want to consider when you're setting up your home theater with a projector, and whether you're going with a projector that has manual zoom controls or motorized, is that when you're watching a movie like this where they constantly switch between aspect ratios, you're going to have to be switching either manually or by a remote the picture size and focus and positioning. And that can get kind of annoying sometimes. In The Dark Knight, they do this often. The bigger, more dynamic, crazy scenes are in IMAX, which fills up the entire thing. And essentially, when you're playing IMAX content on Blu-ray, it basically is 16:9 aspect ratio. And then it'll revert back to widescreen. So you'll be switching multiple times. It's kind of an annoying feature. I really wish that they would allow you to choose whether or not you want to watch the entire movie in 16:9 or just stay widescreen, but unfortunately that's not an option. So here's the beginning of the film, and it's in 16:9 aspect ratio, which is the IMAX also. So I fast forwarded a little, and at any moment it'll switch from IMAX to widescreen. And then this is where I would need to switch the lens memory. So it's still in IMAX mode, which is again 16:9 aspect ratio, and now it's going to switch over to 2:3:9:1 or ultra wide. So when that happens, on my remote I have the lens memory location saved. I just hit lens 2, which is one button, and my projector automatically zooms in the image, refocuses, and repositions to fill the entire screen. So now my 2:4:1 or 2:3:9:1 screen is completely filled up. Now if I stop the movie, it's going to revert back to the Oppo menu, which is in 16:9 aspect ratio, and there you can see it's spilling above and below the actual boundary of the screen. So I would have to then switch back with my remote to lens memory 1, which is saved as the 16:9 aspect ratio content. So there it goes, repositions to center itself in the screen and refocuses. Okay, so now we have the PlayStation 4 on, and again the menu system is in 16:9 aspect ratio. And then if I go to the media and say I go to Hulu, which has got both TV content and movies, so you'll find a wide variety of 16:9 content on here as well as 2:3:9:1. So if I were to play any television-based content, it's going to be in 16:9 aspect ratio, in which case I would just leave the screen the way it is. So if I go over to a movie though, it's going to be in 2:3:9 aspect ratio, in which case I would have to switch the ratio again. So now I'll just demonstrate what I'm doing on my remote, and this is what I'm doing. So I'm using the Harmony Elite remote, and I've got it programmed to control all the different things in my home theater. So when I'm switching from one lens memory location to the other, this is what I'm doing. So devices, scroll down to Epson, and then lens memory. And you can have 10 different lens memory locations on this projector. For me, lens memory 1 is 16:9 content, and lens memory 2 is the 2:3:9:1 aspect ratio content. So I just hit this button once. And now once again, my entire screen is filled up. Pretty cool. I never get tired of seeing that. And it's pretty fun to watch people's reactions when they come down here to watch a movie and I switch it. It's pretty awesome. Kind of blows their mind. And again, we're back to the PlayStation menu, but because it's in 16:9 aspect ratio, it's overshooting the screen because I have the Lens Memory 2 loaded up. So again, I just hit it, Lens Memory 1, and it switches back just like that. And there it is. It even tells you up in the top right corner what you've named it. So you can name it anything you want. And on there, I just have it labeled 16:9, 108 inches, because when I'm playing 16:9 content on my CinemaScope screen, it measures out to 108 inches diagonally, whereas the screen itself is 143 inches CinemaScope. So I hope this clears up a lot of things for people who are looking to buy a projector for their theater, or they're considering TV over a projector. And if you have any questions at all, just let me know. I'll be happy to answer them. And until next time, thank you for watching, and happy watching. Cheers.